Have you ever pondered about the true essence of life and what we are so ardently chasing after? Is it wealth, fame, or is it the constant strive for more, always more? Today we turn to the timeless wisdom of the Quran, specifically to Surah At-Takathur, for some enlightenment. This surah, also known as the piling up, serves as a profound reminder of the true purpose of life, beyond the ceaseless accumulation of worldly possessions and achievements. It nudges us to reflect, to question, and to realign our pursuits with what truly matters. So, if you've ever felt lost in the hustle and bustle of life, or wondered about the bigger picture, you're in the right place. We're about to embark on a journey of understanding, one that promises to shed light on these pressing questions and more. So, sit back, open your heart and your mind, and join me as we delve into the profound wisdom of Surah At-Takathur. The surah begins with Al-Hukumat Takathur, which translates to the mutual rivalry for piling up of worldly things diverts you. At the heart of these potent words lies a profound truth about human nature and our tendency to be engrossed in the accumulation of material wealth. Let's delve into the essence of these verses. The term Al-Hukumat Takathur refers to the human tendency to be preoccupied with the accumulation and increase of worldly possessions. It's a race to amass, to pile up. And this race, this rivalry, it diverts us, it distracts us. But from what, you may ask? It diverts us from the very purpose of our existence, from the pursuit of spiritual growth and enlightenment, from seeking closeness to our Creator. It makes us lose sight of the bigger picture, the greater purpose. The first two verses of Surah At-Takathur paint a vivid picture of this distraction. They depict a world where individuals are so engrossed in their pursuit of material wealth that they become oblivious to their spiritual needs. These verses, in their simplicity, capture the complexity of human desires. They show how the pursuit of worldly wealth can lead to a state of forgetfulness where we become unmindful of our spiritual obligations. The implications of this are profound. When we allow our desire for material wealth to overshadow our spiritual growth, we risk losing touch with our true purpose. We risk becoming so engrossed in this worldly life that we forget about the hereafter. But these verses not only diagnose the problem, they also offer a solution. They remind us of the need to prioritize our spiritual journey over worldly pursuits. They invite us to shift our focus from the temporary to the eternal, from the material to the spiritual. In essence, the first two verses of Surah At-Takathur serve as a mirror reflecting our own preoccupations and where our priorities lie. They challenge us to question and reassess our pursuits and where we are heading. These verses serve as a stark reminder to prioritize our spiritual journey over worldly pursuits. The surah continues with, "Until you visit the graves," a phrase that carries profound weight and meaning. This verse, dear listeners, signifies the inevitability of death, a journey each one of us will inevitably embark upon. It serves as a reminder of our final destination, the graves where all worldly pursuits come to an end. Now let's delve a bit deeper into the meaning of this verse. The term visit is used here not in its usual sense, but rather it refers to our permanent stay in the graves. This is a visit from which there is no return. It's a stark reminder of our mortality, of the transient nature of our existence in this world. The verse also instills the understanding that the pursuit of worldly gains, the race for more, will eventually cease at the grave. It's a poignant reminder that whatever we pile up in this world, be it wealth, status, or material possessions, will not accompany us beyond the grave. Simultaneously, this verse is not intended to instill fear or despair. Instead, it imbues a sense of perspective, a reminder of our priorities. It prompts us to reflect on the temporary nature of worldly possessions and the permanence of our actions. Our deeds, good or bad, are what we truly own and what will accompany us beyond this life. They are what will matter when we visit the graves. This verse encourages us to strive for goodness, to accumulate not material possessions, but acts of kindness, compassion, and faith. In essence, this verse from Surah At-Takathur is a reminder of the fleeting nature of life and the lasting impact of our deeds. It prompts us to reflect on the question, what are we truly piling up? Is it wealth and status, or is it good deeds and spiritual growth? This verse prompts us to reflect on the temporary nature of worldly possessions and the permanence of our actions. The surah concludes with a powerful reminder of the Day of Judgment. These concluding verses of Surah At-Takathur, from 4 to 8, unfold the stark reality of life after death and the accountability of our deeds. They are a wake-up call, a sobering reminder that we are not merely beings of this temporal world, but that we have an eternal life awaiting us. Verse 4 begins with the words, "Again you shall certainly know." This repetition for emphasis is a common literary device in the Quran, used to underscore the absolute certainty of the hereafter. It's a solemn reminder that regardless of our worldly distractions, we will inevitably come to know the reality of what lies beyond this life. Following this, verse 5 and 6 vividly describe the Day of Judgment. "Nay, if you knew with a sure knowledge, you shall certainly see the hellfire." The phrase sure knowledge here refers to a deep, unshakable understanding, something far beyond surface-level knowledge. It's a stark reminder of the severity and certainty of the consequences we will face for our actions in this life. Verse 7 and 8 further emphasize this point. "Then you shall most certainly see it with the eye of certainty. Then you shall surely be asked about the pleasure." These verses convey the reality that on the Day of Judgment, all pretenses will fall away. We will see the truth with our own eyes, and we will be held accountable for the pleasures we indulged in without giving thanks or using them in the way of righteousness. The surah ends on a note of accountability, reminding us that every pleasure, every blessing we enjoy in this world comes with a responsibility. We will be questioned about how we used these blessings, whether we used them for good or squandered them in heedlessness. These verses serve as a wake-up call, reminding us of our ultimate accountability and the need to lead a righteous life. The Surah At-Takathur, though brief, conveys a powerful message. As we wind down our discussion, let's take a few moments to reflect on the profound essence of this surah and how it weaves into the fabric of our everyday lives. Surah At-Takathur, or the piling up, is a potent reminder of the transient nature of worldly gains. It essentially encourages us to look beyond the materialistic race that often consumes our lives. The surah starts with a mention of takathur, a term illustrating the human tendency to accumulate wealth, status, and worldly possessions, often leading to rivalry and competition. In the first 2 verses, we learned that this competition in piling up distracts us until we visit the graves. This is a solemn reminder of our ultimate destination and the fleeting nature of worldly pursuits. The message is clear and powerful. Our time on this earth is limited, and we should strive to make it meaningful. The 3rd verse presents a stark reality check. It states that we will come to know the truth of our pursuits, then again we will certainly come to know. This repetition serves to emphasize the certainty of the Day of Judgment when all our actions will be accounted for. Then, in the concluding verses, we delved into the vivid imagery of the Day of Judgment. These verses serve as a warning and a reminder of the ultimate reality. They emphasize the importance of prioritizing our deeds over our worldly gains. So, what does Surah At-Takathur signify in the context of our contemporary lives? It encourages us to reflect on our priorities and actions. Are we caught up in the endless cycle of wanting more, or are we investing our time and resources in deeds that will bear fruit in the hereafter? Are we allowing our pursuit of worldly gains to distract us from our ultimate purpose? The surah doesn't discourage the acquisition of wealth or success. Instead, it urges us to maintain a balance, to not let these pursuits consume us to the point of neglecting our spiritual responsibilities. It serves as a moral compass, guiding us towards leading a more balanced, purposeful life. Surah At-Takathur, in its brevity, encapsulates a powerful message that resonates across time and space. It urges us to look beyond the transient and focus on the eternal. It's a call to self-reflection, a reminder to prioritize our actions and deeds over materialistic gains. As we conclude this discussion, let us carry the essence of Surah At-Takathur with us. Let it inspire us to lead lives of balance and purpose, to prioritize our deeds for the hereafter over the fleeting pleasures of this world. In the grand scheme of life, let's strive to not just pile up, but to pile up what truly matters. May this understanding of Surah At-Takathur guide us towards leading a more meaningful and fulfilling life.